Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to those who are here and those who are online as well. Today, in continuation, more or less, it's the second session with Luca Fortis from Italy. He's here at Hast-o-Neest to learn Urdu. Otherwise, he works in the social service section, working with migrants in Italy, and he's taken a couple of years off to go back to university to pursue a master's in Farsi.
Yeah, not a master, is a second degree, is a degree.
Oh, it's another degree, and it requires a secondary language. The secondary language is Urdu, so that brings him to Lahore. And here, and today's session is Expressions of Devotion, Italy, Lahore. And it was inspired by his visit to an urs here, which Afira took him to, and he thought there were some similarities. So, over to you. Yes.
The idea was that in Italy I work a lot. Also, I'm working in social project, but I work also as journalist, and I work a lot on cultural festivals in Italy. And generally, there are a lot of similarities, not just with Pakistan, but with a lot of other Islamic countries, especially in the area between the Mediterranean area up to Syria, Iran, and also Pakistan. Sometimes Christian, Sunni, and Shia have similar way of religiosity, okay, and music. First, what I will start, I will show you a lot of videos, because I think that sometimes the best way is just to look it, because you could understand much better than if I just explaining it. First, I will start with what we call in Italian praeficiae. Okay, praeficiae is, we don't have anymore so many of them. We still found some of them in Calabria, that is a region in south of Italy, but generally until 1960, until 1970 it was possible to see a lot of them. And praeficiae are the women that were paid to cry in funerals, okay? And generally they used to show off a lot. They used to have a kind of black chador, somehow very similar, and they were crying to really show off a lot. Not all of them were paid. Some of them, this way of crying was also a personal way that the poor people, for example, the farmers, were using to do maybe once a year, just because maybe if a widow lost her husband and maybe they had a lot of kids and she was supposed to work, she couldn't think all the year about the tragedy she had. For this, she was doing this for 1-2 days in a very, very show-off way, taking all her bad energy and suddenly forgetting about it for another year. And maybe the year after, she was doing again this. A lot of anthropologists study this, and they found it was a pre-psychological way. Pre-psychology, now you go to a doctor to say, I'm sad, what are my problems? But at that time, the farmers, they couldn't do this, because they were supposed to work, otherwise no food for the kids. Because generally the energy and the bad feeling should somehow find a way to come out. And to do this in a very, very energetic way, and in a way that was really a show-off, that all the community could see this, was one of the way. And the other way was to pay someone, if you were richer, to do this for you. For this, this is a photo at the time, and I will show you directly the one. Okay, this is actually I did this photo the day before the National Day, when there was the Shia festivity, and 1 month after Ashura. And she was also really crying loudly and with also tears in her eyes. And this is something very similar to what we do. And I will try to show directly the video, because I think it's the best way. Let's see. There is an issue, I think, with the video. Mm-hmm. Or it's too dark, maybe. Okay.
I think it will come back.
It's very sound. Okay, let it move on. Okay, I will change video and goes directly to the second one.
Now they're shouting.
Anyway, I hope you had an idea of what is the second thing is the tarantism. Tarantism is a similar thing, but it's for people that used to have some mental issue. Okay, for this, generally in south of Italy, this now it disappeared, but really until 90, 60, 70, this was still there, and we had this tradition for centuries. For the people that had mental problem have exactly the same issue than the one that have a pain in their heart. They couldn't focus too much on that because they were poor, they need to work, and they need to find a way to be sure that the family had the money to carry on. For this, generally, in the women, they have the chance to be crazy just for 1 year, for 10 days in 1 year. And this was happening because for the tradition, it was like if a spider was, we call it taranta, was beating you. And the women in this period, they start to be very melancholic, and little by little they have the chance to become crazy. The idea was that there was the soul, for example, of a jinn that was entering inside of you, and you could just do whatever you want in this period, and the saint was trying to help you to get out of this situation. But it was a kind of fight with the saint and the priest asking you, please pray, get out of this, and the person that was possessed would say, no, now I can't, and she was still doing this. And finally, little by little, after the last day, during the festivity of the saint, she could finally found a way to get out from the possession. What is, I found some similarities in here when you see, for example, the people dancing in cavalli, because it's a way you can try to come near God, near the saint, doing a dance that is very rhythmic. And some of the moves they do, you can see similar moves sometimes with the women. Not all of them, but some of them are very similar, and some other not. For example, this is in Pakistan. The guy was exactly it was during a Sufi festivity, and the face of the guy is exactly as in this moment is in some kind of connection with God. This is always in Cavalli, in a Sufi shrine. And this tradition is from Puglia. Puglia is another region from south of Italy. And here you can see some image. People were also playing music. And I will try to show, this is a long documentary, for this I will try to go just in the part of the documentary that are interesting for us. Hoping it will work. Let's see if... This is a private house, and they are playing music, and they are just waiting that the women that are possessed, she's going out from the another room. Okay, because you see how she dance, how she move, and she's like if she's possessed by a kind of jinn. And generally, they were doing this for like at least 4 or 5 days. Okay, because imagine there is the priest that try to tell you stop to do this, the saint is with you, God will help you, but they don't, they can't.
Il suo pensiero si nutre in ritmo puro e nel movimento quasi meccanico sorgono figure di liberazione, a volte però ancora da ombre strane.
This is 1960, more or less, 1970. go a little bit further. If it's okay, let's go.
Ora la donna in piedi lotta contro una taranta, immaginando di calpestarla e di ucciderla con il piede che batte la razza.
In this moment, she's trying to kill the spider with the feet. She's thinking to jump on the spider in her mind.
Passo su passo cerca il suo equilibrio spirituale, accerchiando a vertigine subbuglio musicali sempre più vibranti, fino alla scomparsa dei sensi.
Okay, we can go directly to the last part. This is in front of the church for the last day, for the day of the saint, where they are supposed to finally found peace. She just jumped inside of. You see how they do like the sufi when they turn on. Just imagine it was exactly a fight between all your problems, your mental problems, and a kind of gene that is helping somehow you to take them out, but also the saint and God that try to save you from this problem, to be sure that for next year you could be fine for all the year. And this was made in front of all the village. Let's go to the I do last minutes, but after I think we have to go further because otherwise we don't have time for the others.
Moltiplicate le possibilità di contagio di queste frane della psiche fra il dormitorio delle malate, il garantismo della cappella di San Paolo è già nella sua parabola di crisi.
Let's see, there was a piece maybe before that are maybe we can do just see this one. Okay, we can go to the next. Okay, another really interesting similarities is the role of transgender communities inside of the religious festivities. In Napoli, we have a small community, we call it Femminelli. Napoli is my own city, that have really exactly the same role of the transgender in the local festivities. Because for the Catholic religion, generally until 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there were transgender people, as generally gay people, were not accepted. But there was just one exception, and this exception was near Napoli, and this culture of the Femminelli, as they call, they had the role of pray during the festivity for the saints, for the Virgin Mary, to play music, to dance, to take care of the people when they, for the birth, for example, during the marriage, and when they die. But this role was specific, very clear, and they couldn't go out from this role. It was accepted just because they had this specific role. And generally, this culture was so old, probably the Catholic Church had to find a way to deal with it. And it was too strong from a popular believer that actually they had to accept it. In Italy, we used to say that a femminello, that is this transgender, is not a transgender because he has a role in specific. A person in Milano could not be the same because they don't have this festivity, they don't have the same, they don't have these roles. But in Napoli, we used to say that even a person, a boss from the mafia, had respect for them, and they are the only that can say to a mafia boss the truth in their face, because they think is good luck. They are good luck because they can be against them. But this I found it. I did this photo some days ago in the street in Pakistan in the 𝑬𝒙𝒑𝒂𝒏𝒔, and this is the video will show you. This is the region Campania. Is a video that is part of different festivities, not specifically a religious one, but is very similar to the idea of the Nowruz in Iran, or the Kurdish also Nowruz. Is the old year that is passing away and the birth of the new year. For this, in this case, is a funeral, a fake funeral, where the body of the person represents the whole year. And all the people, they go to the widows, and they, in a funny way, they just try to say, oh, I'm so sorry, but we all had a good relationship with your husband, because your husband was good with everyone, because it's the fertility of the land. Because the idea is that the next year, the land have to be also fertile. I'll show you quickly some photos, and after the video, because the video is more interesting. But do you see the femminelli, the transgender? In this case, they have black clothes, like the one that were crying for the funerals, generally. And it's a very popular background. As you can see from the photo, it's not a fancy festivity. It's a small town with the grandmother. And the interesting thing is that this festivity is made with the grandmothers. The grandmothers are, some of them are very, very important singer of the local music, that is tamuriata. And one of them, she's 85, another one is 95, and they're really, really very important in the community. And you see after the barn, the body, that is the whole hair. Like in Iran, they jump on the fire for to taking the bed from you and giving you the good for the next year. Please, let's go to the video. You see the lady, she's a very important singer from the local tradition. And the other lady, she's a transgender in reality. For instance, you have the one with the white scarf. She's a very important transgender for the community. And the other one, she's like the grandmother of the community. She's representing the wife. Let's go a little bit further. Alright, the quality is not very good for this imaging. Sometimes they are just screaming very loudly because the house band has passed away, but sometimes they make joke. They are making fun of him, and sometimes they sing very important songs for the community. So this is going up and down from mourning to very funny moments, to praying for the community, and in the end, they take the body for all the to show to the whole village, the whole man, and in the end, they burn it. She is one of the most important singers in south of Italy. He's also a transgender, and he is very important for rediscovering the whole traditional songs in south of Italy. And he worked with a lot of very important musicians and also with university, because he's one of the few person that knows in Italy all the different mix, song and tradition we have. Let's go to the end.
I think Jason has a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I wanted to ask whether the person is it an effigy or an actor?
No, they're not actors. They're whole.
The person who's in the like the coffin, whose funeral they're celebrating.
Yeah.
Is that an actor playing the dead person?
No, the dead person is just a
Dummy.
It's a dummy. Yeah, it's in plastic. Yeah. But the people from the community generally, they are imagine some old ladies from the village, and this transgender that they come around from different villages. For each village have a very famous one, and they will come at the gathering for this. And in the last part, they just burn him. First, let's see if we can see it with internet, if internet will be good with us or not. Okay, let's try. I love a lot this tradition because it has something of very old. It has the rituality of the really funeral, but the society, they made it sometimes in a joyful way and sometimes in a true way. It's just changed if it's for someone that really passed away or is something symbolic. So it's a change. The idea is that you have to do sometimes in a symbolic way, and this way can be joyful, and sometimes you do in a real way and you have to cry. This is when they burn it, and this is the Okay, we can go to the next one. It's the springtime that is coming. New Year, yeah. Because in generality, in Italy we do this twice. We do exactly the same day of Nowruz, the 21 of March, but we call it the festivity of San Giuseppe. San Giuseppe, in Italian, is the father of, is actually the father of Jesus. Is the husband of Miriam.
To our Basant festival, which is before in February instead of March.
So in French, this would be Mardi Gras. This would be Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In this case, it's funny because they don't do anymore in Tuesday, in the Fat Tuesday, because not a lot of people generally go in that day. They do the first Sunday of Quaresima. That is something they should not do, but they had the permission of the priest of the village. Because each year they said, oh, thanks to the priest that give us the permission to do this in a period where they are not supposed to do somehow. Okay. Okay, now we go to the saint. These were some photos I did with Madame Afira during a celebration for a saint. And we have also Cavalli, that is really very important in the tradition here. This was some photo I did during some different Sufi festivals. And this is something in Italy, we call it the Madonna of the Gallina, is like the chicken, okay? For this imagine is a Virgin Mary from a very agricultural area. And the festivity, they give to the Virgin Mary animals like birds generally. That are birds that they are in their farms. Because they can be chicken, they can be any kind of bird they generally have in their own house. This is the region always, is Campania. This is some picture I did myself. Can you see there are a lot of birds on the Madonna, and they give them to the statue of the Virgin Mary. And this is always a moment where they are playing music when the statue of the Virgin Mary is entering in one special yard, because inside of the community they organize something like 20-25 different courtyards, and everyone is in competition with the other one to make a better music or to do a better festivity. This one is a bit long, and I will have to skip it some part. You see, they are giving bread, they are giving different things to the Madonna as a gift. Let's hope for the. As in Pakistan, also in Italy, the drum is very important, because music is very rhythmic. The people that is singing is people that have a very normal everyday life. Maybe it's the butcher or the people working in the... This music, we call it tamburiata. Okay? Tamburiata is like the cavallo of this region, and it's really, probably it has some Greek origin. You can see during the Greek colonies, 700 before Jesus Christ, in south of Italy. You can see in the archaeological base, in the pottery, people that are using the same instrument, and they are dancing in the same way. For sure, we are not sure that the music was exactly the same, but from a visual point of view, it's exactly the same. This is another case where Christian and Catholicism has took something from all this tradition. We can see maybe the first part where the Madonna is arriving. This is the moment they're waiting for the Madonna to arrive in one of the yards. Next one. Okay, this is a little bit an explanation of this traditional folk dance and music that we call tamburiata. Tamburiata actually is the tamorra, is the drum, is the name of the drum. In south of Italy, in the other part of south of Italy, we call it tarantella. Okay. And it's a kind of very repetitive beat that help you to find a connection with God. This is the way how people dance. It's a very complicated dance. I could not do it, for example. I grew up in Rome and Milano, which I don't have this kind of dance in my blood. But people in south of Italy, in Naples, where I'm living now, they start when they are maybe 4 or 5 years old, because they really have this rhythm in their blood. And I'm always very jealous because I can't. So this is a very difficult way to dance. Actually, they have to cross the leg and don't lose the balance. Not always you have the flute, but in the one part of the tamburiata from north of Napoli, from Giuliano, it has also the flute. Here you can see well the leg. This is also something very interesting. Sometimes they have this chariot, and each musical group has its own chariot, and we call it paranza. And they are with horses, with the chariot. The quality of the photo here is not good, I'm sorry. This is another festivity where they are singing for a saint. In this case it's Santa Lucia. And she's the same lady you saw at the funeral. I'm trying to make the screen big, but it's not going. Okay, I'm unable to make it big, I don't know why. But we will try last part and I will change video. Okay. But in this case, the lady you see now, she's like 79. The other lady that was on the left, she's 9. This year she became 90. All the people you see in the videos, I know them because they are very important in where I'm living, and I've been doing some journalistic work on the festivity for at least, I think, 10 years or something like that. Okay, let's go to the... Okay. To the next one. Okay, this is the one I was telling you that I've also have the flute, not just the drum, but I also have the flute. For this is this one. I hope the video will be good. Let's see this one. I just tried the first one I found, and let's see if it's the one. So you can see the big difference is that here we don't have just the drum, but we have the flute that is very important. Okay, now we go to another, is a completely different things, and is similar to what Shia religion does for Ashura. And in south of Italy we do this in very few places, but they are generally all for saint. or for Easter, and they generally do or in Calabria or in Campania. Okay, in Calabria they do they whip the legs generally with stones. They take stones and they just go like that on the legs until they don't have blood, and they with the hand they take the blood and they just make signs on the wall that they did this. This they do this each year. In my region, in Campania, what they do is each 7 years, in a small town near Benevento, what they do is they that kind of sponge where they put inside a lot of small kind of nails. Okay, they're very, very small. In the video, maybe you will not see them, but there are a lot of them. Because what they do, they take the sponge with all these nails and they do like that until they don't have blood here. And this they do each 7 years in Guardia San Framondi. For this, the first one is in Calabria, and we have some 7-minute videos. Okay, this is Ashura here. I'm not Ashura, it was the festivity 1 month after Ashura. Okay, and this is in Calabria. This is the region, Calabria. These are some photos. The photos are not mine, I took it from internet, those ones. You see the hands behind the wall? Okay, I will go. This is before when they don't have the stone now. Now you see that the stones in the hand. Here is for history, for this, what they are remembering is the fact that Jesus Christ was actually crucified. The difference with Ashura and that in Italy there are small festivity in that case. You don't see thousands of people or people are coming from. It's very community things. This was 7 years ago, I see from the video now, for example. Okay, we can go to the other one. They put alcohol on the wooden to make it to not have infection. It's local wine, very generally. Okay, finally, the man I couldn't make it really. Okay, let's go to the other one. Okay, this is near Benevento, it's in Campania.
Everyone at the prior end was rubbing their hands on the blood and then slapping them on the walls. Does that symbolize anything?
Actually, for sure, yeah, they has a symbol. I'm not sure, I'll be honest about, but I think is a way to say we did it, and for because it will remain. For this, you will have these hands with the blood on the wall for until the rain will not take them. Because probably it has some kind of, but I'm not sure about that. I want to be honest about. Yeah.
What does the red color represent? Like in Shia they wear black color and we wear red color. So does it have any special?
In that case, the red color is the blood. It's the blood of Jesus Christ, and black is mourning. For this, generally in south of Italy we use the black, exactly as for the Shia, but the red is the blood from the cross, because Jesus Christ was crucified and he had blood coming up. Okay, this is a festivity they do each 7 years. Okay, because the idea is, as I was telling you, there's a sponge, and they put some sharp pins inside, and this is full of this, and they just do like that. And in that case, it's not every year. This is the region, and let's see the video. In this case, you would see they have the faces covered, because the Catholic religion was not very happy about, and the police also were arresting them, especially during fascism. For this they...
Molte case del paese si finiscono di confezionare cappucci e camici. Si seleziona il vino migliore per pulire e disinfettare le ferite dei penitenti e si preparano gli strumenti per l'autoflagellazione. Le donne riescono ad entrare in un laboratorio segreto, allestito per l'occasione in un'abitazione privata. Qui si lavora senza sosta per realizzare la spugna, conficcando in un disco di sughero da 30 a 45 spilli, che sporgono per un paio di millimetri attraverso uno strato di cera. Quest'anno sono state costruite 800 spugne, da utilizzare una sola volta e custodire per sempre. Ogni 7 anni si fanno questi camiscioni. Ognuno che si va o a battere o alla disciplina porta questo pezzo di stoffa. Io li taglio.
She's telling that they prepared this in 7 years.
Poi in chiesa quello che si battono si devono cucire perché devono tenere il petto aperto. Dei battenti.
Molte persone sono qui alla caccia e sanno chi sono realmente i battenti.
L'uso dei battenti di nascondere il proprio volto con il cappuccio nasce probabilmente in epoca medievale, come segno di appartenenza a una congregazione religiosa.
She's saying that probably the idea of cover the head is also something from Middle Age, because they had some kind of secret different congregation. But also after the church started to make problem to them, and also police. Little by little, this idea to cover the head became very important. Still now, people don't know exactly who they are. For sure, inside of the village, more or less, everyone knows who is participating, but
una sommossa. Ma vogliamo liberi i nostri mariti!
Sono effettivamente tanti e c'è un'atmosfera veramente poi c'è stato il grido sull'altare.
they do this for 4 or 5 years, 4 hours generally, 4 or 5 hours.
C'è chi si batte per chiedere una grazia, chi per sciogliere un voto, cioè per mantenere la promessa di flagellarsi in onore della Madonna, per ringraziarla di un aiuto speciale.
Generally in Italy, but I think it's the same everywhere, when you do something like that, you are asking something to a saint or to God, something that you desire in your heart, and you do this feeling, hoping that actually this will help you.
Sono anche bibite energetiche. Camice bianco mi riflette molto il sole, mi sono reso conto che attira molto la luce.
A uno sguardo esterno e distaccato, queste penitenze sembrano l'espressione di un fanatismo religioso, una mortificazione esagerata del proprio corpo. Ma osservando nel profondo, si può cogliere anche l'autentico significato di queste manifestazioni. Sono dei tentativi, in qualche modo, sia di imitazione del Signore, sia di partecipazione al suo dolore.
The priest, what he's saying is that you have to find a balance between the way you try to participate to the pain of God, but at the same time don't show off too much. Because the Catholic Church is always a little bit, it like and don't like too much in the balance.
Segnala l'uscita della Madonna dal santuario e l'imminente incontro in piazza, quando in ginocchio i battenti le rendono l'ultimo omaggio.
Yeah, but this is the Virgin Mary when she's coming out.
Dopo l'incontro con l'Assunta, i penitenti incappucciati si disperdono per via.
And this is the hand.
Si ritroveranno 2 ore dopo, confusi tra la folla, sulla salita del
2 hours after they do the kind of pilgrimage, but without the mask. Because no one knows anymore who they were. Okay, we can go to the next one. Okay, this is a festivity in Sicily. I've been there like 7 times, and it's one of my favorites somehow. There is 2 things that are similar in this. This is in Catania, to a second thing that is the saint of my own city in Napoli. Okay, both of them are city with volcanoes. But the relationship with the saint is to protect the city from the volcano. Okay, and both of them probably are festivity that were older than Christianism, because when you live under a volcano, for sure, even before you had some kind of god or something protecting you from the volcano. In both of them have also some kind of iconographic things with the volcanoes. In the case of Sant'Agata, the iconographic things is that they have huge candles with fire, and fire is the fire of the volcano. The idea behind is that the bigger the candle they are, the more they weight. For example, they can be 200 kilos. Better it is, and the more you are really near to God. This is Sicily, and this is some photos of the festivity. And actually this is the third festivity, the biggest festivity, the third one in the Catholic world. This one is in Peru, another one is the Easter in Spain, and after we have Sant'Agata in Catania. This is really a place where until 10 years ago it was possible to die, just crushed by the people, because there were so many that it was really dangerous actually sometimes. Okay, I have the same issue with the screen that don't become a big one, but let's see if internet is working. And generally this festivity is in February, and it's for 3 days. This is the last day. They do the procession with the candles from 5 in afternoon up to the morning, noon of the day after actually. This is a very long one. Okay, let's see if we can. You have some people that they take the candles on the shoulder and they just run. And suddenly they stop in different places and they start to pray with someone that take the stomach of the other one just to make a bigger voice. And what they pray is for the people that maybe is in prison, the people that have problems, and they generally say, they shout to everyone that you have to participate. Because they're really screaming to anyone, you have to come, you have to do it with us, in a very, very strong way actually. What he's saying is we are all believers. Because we are all believers and you have to come with us. Okay, let's see if I can get out. Okay, this is the last one, is San Gennaro. San Gennaro is one of the 45 or 47 saints we have in my own city, because now we don't have one saint, but 45, 46. And with San Gennaro, they have a contract signed, okay, from the population to the saint. The saint, no one is a very old saint for this. He never signed a contract because it was from Roman time. But the idea is that if the volcanoes create problems to the city, or there are any problems around, the people can be very angry with the saint. Once they even change him with another one because he didn't do a good job. Because the way the people have the relationship with the saint is a relationship where you can really become angry with him, you can ask things and you pretend things. It's really interesting. It's not something you have fear of, but it's something you are sometimes in a chance even to fight with him. Okay, because in Napoli they have this belief that 3 times during the year the blood have to melt. Okay, they have this blood inside of a bottle of glass, and the bishop of the city is shake it like that, and you have all the ladies that they are really telling in a very bad way to the saint, you have to melt now, because otherwise we'll be very angry with you. And the saint is just like that. Sorry, the bishop just like that. And generally, the blood melt. When it don't happen, this is very bad for the city in general. It was during the Second World War, during some other eruption. The Catholic Church don't say this is true. Okay, the Catholic Church give the possibility to the people to believe or not. This also because, you know, in Europe, science is very, very strong. For this, it would be very easy for any scientist to just try to analyze the blood to understand what is happening. For this reason, generally, the Catholic Church just said to people, you can believe it or not. It's your own decision. But people in the city, they believe it a lot. Even people that maybe don't believe in God. This is something also very interesting. Generally, in Italy, the saints, the worship for the saint is stronger maybe than the one for even God, because we have a lot of people that are not officially Catholic. For this, they believe in something. They believe maybe in God, but not in the Catholic one. But the relationship with the saint is still very, very strong, stronger than with the official Catholic religion. And this is again the region, Campania, and this is you see the blood is inside. This is the bishop and the blood. And this is the let's see, there's a short video, and this is the last one. This is an old video, it's from 1970.
The quality is still not good. That is
and this is something that is still very strong in the city. This is the Archbishop of the city that in 1970 was speaking.
del sangue di San Gennaro, che non si può attribuire ad alcuna causa naturale.
He's saying that he strongly believes that the fact that the blood is melting is something that is not natural, and he really had to understand himself because he's melting his own hand.
Nel sangue eucaristico di Gesù, perché ho detto, se il sangue di Cristo si rende vivo ogni tanto del sangue di San Gennaro.
In this case, the blood is the lava of the volcano, because the color of the blood is also the same color of the lava in a volcano. It's during an eruption, the stone is red. Okay? And imagine that Naples is a very important city also for firework, for this during any festivities, but not just festivities, any day, for any reason. Someone is migrating in Paris to work. You have a birthday, someone is getting out of the prison, any reason, even mafia when maybe drugs is arriving, in the name of any reason, you do firework. And you understand the symbolism of firework when you are in the sea and you see in a boat and you see all the volcano in the area around the volcano. And more or less anytime you see fireworks around, and you really see that the fireworks are exactly, they symbolize the eruption of the volcano somehow, because they are exactly as a volcano erupting, but in this case they are good, they are not bad. But this is a way to make somehow the volcanoes erupting in a nice way. A lot of people think this in Napoli. They are not true about, but it's probably like that. Okay, now in men, you can see. And generally the people, they go to kiss the blood of the saint. For this, the priest, the bishop, for the next week, will be in the church for like 4 hours with the blood in his hand to give the chance to the people to go and kiss him. Okay, this was the last one. This was the last one. I'm sorry for the quality of the picture, but the idea was just to show how really sometimes the religiosity of people is connected, and they have similar way to arrive to God. Even if maybe the God is not the same one, but it's still different, sort of different way to call God, but generally the background is the same. Not just because the Christian religion and the Muslim religion are like cousin and brother, because anyway, I always imagine that if for someone that is coming from China, for example, it would be difficult to understand somehow the difference between the Catholicism, Christianism, Islam, or Hebrew religion, because for someone that comes from a completely different kind of religion, they are very similar. For this, we have really a background behind, but we have also a background because we've been connected from centuries, because anyway, for this, generally, imagine that the second religion during the Roman Empire, in the end of the Roman Empire, where paganism was collapsing, the second religion, the one that could also win, but didn't, was Zoroastrianism, that we call Mithraism. For this, in Italy, whatever you have a Christian church, there is sometimes, in a lot of times, there are Mithraism temples that have been actually destroyed by the Christian, because they were very competitive for them, and for this, even we could become Zoroastrian, or we call it Mithra, but for very, very for an historian, they are studying a lot why Christianism became more important than Mithraism in Italy, for example.
Very fascinating.
Thanks really for the opportunity, and thanks again to Hast-o-Neest, and also for this.
Maybe you can have some comments.
Yeah, whatever you want to ask me.
Is here. Maybe you can start.
Well, I think the raising okay. So thank you very much. I actually enjoyed the quality of the videos, especially the beautiful black and white videos from the 1960s. I think that the project of comparing rituals of devotion. It is quite challenging.
Praying in at home for a saint here, I'm pretty sure that what he's doing is in his soul is hoping that something will go in a good way, and hoping, praying for it, and having somehow a kind of personal relationship with the saint. And these things generally in religion can be sensible, because, for example, in Islam, as in the Catholic religion, sometimes the church try to say that the relationship had to be before with just God, and not with someone that is helping you to arrive to God. And sometimes the Islam, as the Christianity and the Catholic Church, they have somehow to accept this, because they really understand how people are strongly believing in this way or in arriving to God. Exactly was for me the same as with mysticism. For example, generally the idea to using rhythmical music to found a way to speak with God, and sometimes even losing consciousness. This also is something that sometimes can be sensitive, because Catholic as Islam sometimes could say, oh, you don't have to do this, maybe because it's not exactly what is right in the sacred books. But in the same time, are deep, I think, in humans. Whereas this for me is something that generally I can feel when I travel around. So,
very, very interesting. Anybody else would like to make a comment or ask a question?
Saint Agatha internet, it was of flooding happening in Hunza. So although the people were evacuated, the flood actually arrived, but there were people.
You have volcanoes or you have floods, you will find a way to ask God or ask any religion you believe to help you. I'm not sure about China, because China have a very different kind of religion, and I don't know at all. But for sure, I'm pretty sure that is a very human feeling. And but this also, I think, is a kind of similarities that that you will find.
Very true.
And for example, another thing is the relationship with music. Okay, the idea this is disappearing in modern society a lot. People go in clubs maybe, but I don't know if in UK or in north of Europe you have this strong relationship with here. As I had the idea also in Lahore, it becoming really very important again in society. For this. This idea of very joyful, that can give you rhythm, that sometimes the music can be really similar to what you will have in a club, because the rhythm is really, sometimes drums and techno can be not so far. And so now I think there is some kind of,
Dr. Bas.
Yeah, so the last religious activity that you shared was related to the deification of the blood of the saint. So something similar happens on the 10th of Muharram every year in Lahore. So there's a place, Abbott Road, and there's a religious activity takes place, and the organizers, they claim that they have a chain of beads, and some of the beads in that chain are made of a clay which was given by Prophet Muhammad to one of his wives. And he told her that she would accompany Imam Hussain in Karbala. And he told her that this clay would change its color at the time of the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. And so what happens every year is that right at the time of the death of Imam Hussain, those beads, they change their color.
So everybody sees it, and they turn red.
Yeah. So it came into my mind.
Is exactly, the idea is exactly the same. And the blood, I didn't told this, but San Gennaro was killed by pagan. For the idea of the blood is that he's a martyr because during the Roman Empire they asked him to change religion, and he didn't, and for this he was killed. And for this also there is a kind of idea, exactly as the blood with Ashura is the blood of someone that have lost her life for God. This is also a similar idea. So, and also, for me, they are really very interesting, the relationship with saints and saints. Because for sure, I live in a society where science generally is considered the last one in telling true or not true. And I also believe in science, honestly, myself. But I've been so many years around traditional festivity in south of Italy that I have to say that if I have that I feel somehow more a believer when I am in some kind of festivities than generally in a church, in a normal church, because you can see the energy of people. You can see the energy of people believing in something, and also you would see in public, because officially the religion they are not so happy about.
It was a surprise to see something similar from Europe. One wouldn't have expected to see that sort of strong devotion. So thank you for that.
But for example, something I didn't, but now that you tell me, it just came in my mouth. For example, in the festivity of the Virgin Mary, the Madonna delle Galline, the one with all the ducks and the chicken, you can see a lot of Muslim people there, because the community, there are a lot of people from Pakistan, from Morocco, from different places, and they really go and they participate, they dance with people, they're really included inside of the festivity. And the same in Napoli, and this is also very beautiful. Imagine also in Napoli there is these strange things that there are some part of Buddhists and Christians that they can sometimes split from one to the other one, because we have a really big community from Sri Lanka. And generally, Sri Lankan people are divided between Buddhists and also Christians. But when they go to Napoli, generally you can see in the same houses, they have Buddhist things, Virgin Mary, and they all have together. And it's a kind of, because in their own family, someone is Catholic, someone is Buddhist, and for this somehow, yes, and they also strongly believe in the saints in Napoli. It actually is the biggest community from Sri Lanka outside, I think, Sri Lanka, maybe in a single city. Anyway, it's a very important community. The food in the neighborhood I was living before in Napoli is actually half. The street food, actually Sri Lankan people, they go to eat the Sri Lankan one, not just pizza. With pizza or samosas, it depends from the night.
Thank you, because we overshot our time by quite a bit. Thank you.
Thanks to you too, really.